Good afternoon, everyone. I, Mrs. Amrapali Dumri, School Counselor at City Pride School, welcomes you all for today's session on social media, interactive or addictive. We have a well-known speaker with us, Mrs. Sonali Kari. Moving ahead with her educational qualification, she has completed BCom from Mumbai University, Diploma in Children and Adolescent Psychology from Jnana Prabodhini, Pune. Diploma in Adult Counseling from Cummins College, Pune. MA Clinical Psychology, Certified REBT Therapist from Albert Ellis ATC. Moving ahead with her professional experience, Ma'am has been working with Muktangan Foundation Pune as a director and as a joint secretary at Nutan Bal Shikshan Sangh. Moving ahead with her expertise area, helping adolescents and children with behavioral issues, study skills, and remediation. Dealing with issues like ADHD, conduct disorder, and expertise in dealing with screen addiction. I request ma'am to start with today's session with a round of applause.
Okay, so our today's topic is screen addiction. Now, when we say screen, I think it's all type of screen. It is not only mobile, it is not only laptop, TV, mobile, laptop, whatever screen we can have around, it is screen addiction. But I would like to mention one thing over here. When we talk about adults, we use this addiction word. Otherwise, normally we say it is screen obsession. There is a difference between obsession and addiction. Obsession is the first step of addiction. So in children, normally they are not 100% aware what are the repercussions, or maybe what are the possibilities if they use the screen more than required. So we use the word as obsession, not addiction. Uh, okay. Yeah. Let me introduce first what Muktangan does. Now, Muktangan, we have established Muktangan in 1986. It is established by Dr. Anil Outsat and Dr. Anita Outsat. We all know Dr. Anil Outsat as one of the great writer, but along with his writings, he had so many other skills. Like he used to do sculptures. He was a good. He used to do good sketching. So we all know Dr. Anil Outsat, but the founder was Dr. Anita Outsat, his wife, who was a psychiatrist, and she was working with mental hospital at Yerauda. And there she saw one or two patients of addiction, drug addiction. In 80s, we really had a very bad phase of drug addiction. So when she worked with them, she thought that we need to have a different center where we can treat these kind of patients. So both of them, they started this Muktangan with the help of Pula Deshpande. Initially, Dr. Anil Outsat used to write in Maharashtra Times about drugs. It was a series in Maharashtra Times. When Mr. Pula Deshpande read that series, he decided to fund this project of Muktangan. And wherever he gives the donation, he always used to suggest the name as Muktangan. Pula Deshpande never ever gave his name wherever he gave the donation. So this is what the basic history of Muktangan. Now, in what all areas do we work? The main area is treatment, of course. Whenever we get the patients with addiction, we treat them for a month. We have a treatment of 1 month, which includes their stay, medication, group therapies, individual counseling. Along with that, they have a schedule which they have to follow at the center. So they have yoga, they have physical exercises, they have art therapies. Through all this, they understand what are their hobbies, what are their likings, and through that we give them a different outlook, a different thought process by which they can come out of the addiction. After the treatment, of course, we need to rehabilitate them in the society, because we all know that when we see someone into the addiction, we try to avoid those people. So we try to bring them again in their society, in their work culture, in their family. Most of the times family also say that we don't want this person back. So we try to rehabilitate these kind of people again in their mainstream. Along with treatment and rehabilitation, what we try to generate is awareness, like what we are taking it now. We try to take awareness programs in school, colleges, corporates, in different societies, and training. We believe that only Muktangan or some counselors, we cannot reach everywhere. So we try to train teachers, we try to train professors, we try to train psychologists so that they can make this awareness and they can spread the awareness how addiction can affect your life. Okay, now what are the types of addiction? Let us come to our topic now. There are two types of addictions. One, substance addictions, like we all know there's smoking, drinking, drugs. Now there are n number of drugs. Even, I mean, some of us, we are not aware of the names also. And the second type of addiction which we are facing now is behavioral addiction. One of that is screen addiction. I'll just give you the brief of substance addiction. What we treat at Muktangan is alcohol, which we all know, nicotine, that is gutka, cigarettes, everything. Drugs, here I have mentioned only two names, that is heroin and cocaine. But nowadays, if you go through the newspapers and all, there is meth, MD, all sorts of. I mean, we get that knowledge from the patients coming to Muktangan for the treatment. There are inhalants. Basically, you see, I mean, we can see these patients from schools. Like we have children from the age group of 16, 17, they have the addiction of these whiteners. If you all parents can remember, I think before COVID, a year before COVID, government had banned the inhalants like the whiteners because children used to use that for the addiction. They used to smell or they used to inhale those whiteners. There are inhalants like petrol, iodex. We had one client who was a small boy, around 17 years or so. He used to eat iodex putting on a bread like a jam. So that was one of the addictions. And of course, we have addictions of medicines as well. Medicines, we see these addiction in most of the doctors because medicines are very, very, very easily available for them. So addiction of basically sleeping pills. So these are the basic substance addiction what we see. Let us go to the changing patterns of addiction. Now, what are these patterns that we are observing that are changing? Earlier, what patients that we used to get were, say, around 35, 40 years. Now, patients that are coming in are from the age of 14, 15, 16. So that average age is coming down. Increase in the percentage of addiction. Earlier, people used to have social drinking, sometimes smoking. So that percentage of social social, we cannot say addiction, but the usage in social functions was more. But now the usage of addiction or the percentage of addiction has increased. Misuse of medicine, as I said. Intravenous drugs are also there now, the injections and all. Increase in usage of nicotine. Nowadays, even small children you can see using BD, cigarettes. When we had an awareness program at Gadchiroli, we came across children who were just 10 years old and using those BDs. So we just asked them. So they told us this is nothing wrong in this because we are the one who used to bring BD for their parents. So for them, it is a very natural and usual thing. So for them, it is not an addiction. Increasing addiction of whitener, as I mentioned, and the behavioral addiction. That is what we are talking about now. Now, what are the behavioral addictions? I'll just put everything on the screen. Yeah. We have internet, we have smartphones, we have video games, social media, online shopping, gambling, and pornography. Internet is the source of all these addictions. If you don't have internet, if you don't have Wi-Fi connection, these things cannot be used. Okay. So internet is the main thing where your addiction starts. Earlier also we had phones, we had mobiles, but we never had these kind of addiction problems. Now what happens in smartphone, you have your data. Even if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, data is available. You can search whatever you want to search for. You can play video games very easily. I remember when I was a child, when I was going to school, there were video games, and we used to get fascinated by video games because they were very hardly, I could say, out of 50 students, hardly 1 or 2 students used to have those video game, PSP, and so many other things. Um, just a minute. Yeah. So video games is used to be very, very, very rare. हे काय झालं? माझं connection गेलं. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you were audible.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, just a minute, something went wrong. Just give me a minute.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So as I was saying, video games were not very, very common at that time. So that fascination was there, but the usage was less. Then let us come to the social media. Social media is the platform which, if you want, you can use it for a very good thing, and at the same time, it can be addictive. Like if you see our children, also if you see some people from us also, if we post something on the Facebook or Instagram, we keep on checking how many likes we have got. If no one is liking, if there are no likes, if there are no thumbs, then we get restless. That where our obsession and addiction starts. I am posting something on the social media is not a problem, but I want someone to see that. I want someone to acknowledge that. I want someone to appreciate that. And if I don't get that, then if I have a problem, then that addiction and obsession starts over there. Online shopping is again a very big thing since COVID, because we people cannot go out. They have money, they want to shop. So this was a very, very easy thing to do. And because of online shopping, so many from us, we shop just because we have nothing to do. It is not that we shop for the necessary things. We just shop like, okay, आज काहीतरी scroll केलं, आवडलं, घेतलं, संपलं. There was no need, there was no intention. Just I was scrolling, I saw something, I liked it, and I bought it. Gambling is something that we are seeing very, very, very often nowadays in Muktangan. Now also we have 3 to 4 patients of gambling with the age group from 16 to say around 60. One of my patients who's there in the Muktangan right now, he's 62, who has the addiction of gambling, online gambling. Now in online gambling, the gambling platform is accessible 24/7. We also used to get gambling patients earlier, but there you have to get up, you have to go out of the house, you have to go to the gambling platform and then play. Here you can sit and it is available at the fingertip. So this addiction is increasing. And the major addiction what we see in adolescent is pornography. Pornography is a major concern for parents also nowadays. We are going through so many news in times since last around 2 to 3 years. Uh, I remember one of the case where 8-year boy uh, had done something wrong with his neighborhood girl, who was just 5 years old. And when his counselor asked him, he said, "I didn't know. I just did whatever I had seen on the mobile." And when we asked him which mobile, whose mobile, he said, "I saw that on my father's mobile." So when our children are using our mobile, what we are seeing is very, very visible to them. Children are always one step ahead of us in technology. So we need to be really aware what we are seeing and what we are showing to them. Of course, it is not that internet and smartphones and screen are only for bad things. People do use, or children do use it for information gathering. But most of the times, too much of information is also a problem. If you are taking the information and trying to convert it into the knowledge, then of course it is a very useful thing. Okay, let us come. What are the physical effects of screen? If you use the screen more than what you're supposed to use, we start getting backaches. We sit in a position which is comfortable for us. Normally, when you sit in the school, it is like you have to sit on the bench. So your back is straight, you are sitting straight, and it is hardly that you get the backache or anything like that. But when you are at home, you're sitting in front of the screen most of the time. Not even children, even if you see adults, they sit in a position that is comfortable for them at that point of time, like they slant on the bed, or they will have a chair where they can sit aram se, and over the period of time they start getting the backache in lower back. Headaches. If you keep on watching the screen for a longer time, automatically you start getting headache, because the screen radiation are very, very, very harmful for our eyes and our brain. Weight gain, weight loss, we all have a habit of eating something in front of the screen all the time. If you can think about our childhood, तेव्हा सुद्धा आपण जेव्हा गेम्स बघायचो, आपण टीव्ही बघायचो, पिक्चर बघायचो, we always used to have something in our hand. Tea, coffee, popcorns, wafers, anything. So that increases your weight. Now, how do you lose weight when you're on the screen? There are people who just miss everything because of the screen. I remember when there was no screen addiction, or there was no term called as screen addiction. We had one of the parent in Muktangan who came to us saying that my child has an addiction of computer. So we asked him, we told him there's no addiction. There's no addiction called as computer addiction. There are addiction of alcohol, nicotine, and all that sorts of. So we just asked him, what is your problem? Just describe the problem. So he told us his son used to be on the screen for about 12 to 13 hours consistently. So he does not eat. He does not get up for the urine also. He is on his chair for 12 hours together. So there, when you just skip your meals, you don't drink milk, you don't drink water, you don't do your necessary things also, at that point of time, your weight loss is going to be there. Disturbance in sleep. Most of the times we see children using mobile after 11, after 12. So that once you are into the mobile, you don't remember what is the time. And automatically your sleep gets hampered. There's one syndrome which we have observed over the period of time since this screen addiction is carpal tunnel syndrome. Uh, Most of the times what we use to type the messages is our thumb or our fingers, right? Over the period of time, you start getting pain at the end of your finger, at the end of your thumb. And there are people who cannot move their finger. I had one client, again, see how you can use the screen for a good thing. I did online counseling for her. She was 52 years old lady. She was fantastic in her career, but because of the COVID, she started getting into this addiction of Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and whatnot. And she came with the complaint that she cannot move her thumb. So she went to the ortho doctor and everything had been done. And when she came to us, we told her, okay, what is your time duration of screen? Or what do you do on the screen? Do you play games? Do you chat? Or do you watch movies? So she said, no, I'm most of the times I'm chatting or I'm posting something on the FB. And every time while typing, I need to have my thumb, right? I need to use my thumb and fingers. So over the period of time with the physiotherapy, with the yoga and medication, she started moving her thumb now. So that is one kind of physical problem we have started observing now. Blurred vision and strain, we all know if we watch TV most of the time we get the specs. I remember when we were child, I am sure you all parents will agree with this, that when we were children, we hardly used to see children with specs in our school. So we used to say those who have specs are very scholar because they read a lot, they study a lot. Nowadays, you can see children with the specs since senior KG, first standard, second standard. I'm not saying it is only because of the screen, but screen is one of the major issues for that. Okay. It now screen will not have only physical effects. We have psychological and emotional effects as well. Now, what are those? Most of the times, no, children come to us saying, I know whatever I'm doing is not right. I'm not supposed to use the screen for such a long time. And but I am not able to stop myself. So that guilt feeling is there. And when we shout at our child, that guilt feeling increases. What we do not blame that child's usage of the screen. We blame the child itself, that the child is not right, he is not good enough, how he is bad. So that guilt feeling increases a lot. That is a major psychological effect that children are having nowadays. Anxiety, if they don't get the screen for a longer time, they become anxious. uh, I would like to add on something here. Even though we are talking about adolescents and even though we are talking about children, please try to introspect as parents. Please try to introspect yourself as well. Most of the times we just pick up our phone, open it, and just see whether we have any messages or not. That is also a kind of anxiety. We need to see that people are reaching out to us, people are talking to us, people are talking something good about us. So all the time, and it is not only that but also at the professional level. I understand so many parents, they must be in IT or in some important positions, but I'm sure that it is not necessary that you need to be available 24/7 in your profession. Even doctors, they have a liberty to keep their phone switched off. I know so many doctors, they use their phones, mobile phones, as a landline when they go home. Now, what is that use? Also, we do that sometimes. What we do is once we go home, we have a place where we need to keep our mobiles. Every after 1 hour, we go and check our phones and check whether there are any important messages. And be assured, if anything is important and if you don't read the message, the person who is in a hurry or who's in an urgency is going to call you definitely. So if you have a call, pick up the call and talk about it instead of switching on and checking your messages every now and then. So that anxiety automatically comes down. Then depression. Why this depression is there? Because of the screen, as I told you beforehand. FB, Instagram, your posts, if people are not looking at it, if people are not liking it, if people are not appreciating it, we start devaluing ourselves. We start thinking that I'm not good enough. Whatever I am presenting is not the thing that people want to listen or want to see. So that depression starts coming in. Dishonesty. Children start telling lies to use the screen. And it's not only to children, trust me, even parents start lying to children. I'm using screen because I'm at work. I need a WhatsApp because I need to check my messages about work. every time, trust me, we are not at work. Most of the times we tell this to our children, but that is not the truth. So dishonesty is there on both the sides. It's not only about the children. Agitation and aggression, again, because not getting the screen. We had one client of around 13, 14 years of old. He was a very brilliant child, but because of the COVID, he started getting into this gaming, and he used to make games. It's not like he used to use it like that. He never used to play games, but he used to create games. But he was so addicted that if his mother does not allow him to play the games or work on the screen, then he used to get so wild and violent that most of the times his mother used to lock herself in the bedroom because he used to get so violent. So these are the psychological effects we can see in children. And the major and important reason, according to me, is normally what I tell when parents comes to me is we need to understand the brain structure of our children. Unfortunately, I don't have that slide today, but if you want, I can share it afterwards with the school. The brain structure of the child is such that their logical brain is getting developed at this age, and that get developed till the age of 22, 23. So what is the brain part is developed at this age is all emotional. So whatever reactions and responses we are going to get from our child is definitely based on their emotions. It's not at the logical level. But we being parent and we are more than the age of 25, we need to understand how to deal it logically, not emotionally. So I think if we learn that part of brain and if we learn that structure of brain, it is very easy to manage our children. Okay, what are the social effects? Those who are into this addiction or obsession, they get isolated. There is no sense of time. We don't understand how much time we are there on the screen. Children start avoiding their school, attending their school. They start avoiding doing school work. They avoid talking to people, going to social gatherings because they think that it is of no use. They are more comfortable and they are more happy being on the screen, chatting on the screen. Now, why this has happened? Most of the times, if you can introspect, you can understand. If we see any of the child in the social gathering who is in 10th standard or who is in 8th standard, what normally we talk to them, it is, so what is next? What are your likings? What are you planning to do for your future? And whatever answers we get, we start judging that child. And children do understand that people are judging me. And that judging is always not good for children. They don't like that. And that's the reason they try to switch towards the screen where they know that people are not going to judge them and they can talk without disclosing their names also. There are different kind of chatting rooms where you don't have to disclose your name. You can have some different name. You don't have to disclose your identity also. So that is the safe place for them where they don't have they understand that they are not going to be judged. Again, crimes are increasing because of the screen addiction. See, this is the image what we can see, and this is what the social media life is. Actual apple is broken or eaten half, but when you see it on the screen, that is the mirror, you can see it full. Most of the times what people show or people try to show on the screen or on the social media is how happy they are, but we don't know the other side of the life. And it is not possible that every person is every time happy in their life. There are plus, there are minuses, there is happiness, there are some incidences which are not good. But what we try to show them or what we try to show people is how happy we are. And looking at that, the people who are not actually happy in their life, they start feeling, see, सगळ्यांचं आयुष्य किती छान आहे आणि माझंच किती वाईट आहे. So these kind of feelings starts getting in, which takes you towards the depression. I would like to share this statement of Albert Einstein over here, which we are actually experiencing now. I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots, and we are really experiencing this now. You can see these some 1 or 2 slides. See, the child is sitting on the beach, but instead of experiencing the beach, he is into the mobile. He's experiencing that beach on the screen maybe, but not in actual. Selfies. This is the most dangerous part of our lives, which are taking so many lives just because they are taking selfies somewhere on the sea, somewhere on the mountains. See, on the dining table, all friends together, but everyone is with the mobile instead of talking to each other face to face. After talking about all these effects, that you are going towards screen obsession or addiction. Very simple things that we can identify, or through which we can identify, is normally our daily routine gets disturbed. We try to avoid things. We try not to get into the things which takes time or which are taking my screen time. So that disturbance of daily routine is there. Then avoidance of necessary task. If you think, or if you introspect yourself, you will understand when you are there on the screen, whether it is for work, for entertainment, or for anything. If you are on the screen for a longer time, that is more than 1 or 2 hours, automatically you get mental and physical fatigue. Your head is heavy, your eyes are heavy, and you start feeling tired unnecessarily without doing anything. You're sitting at one place, but still you feel very tired. There's one test which is available on the net. All of you can take that. Rather, I would request you to take that test. It is called as Internet Addiction Test by Kimberly Young. It is freely available on the net. Take that test. They have a scoring also at the end of the test. So if your score is between this to this, then you are at the mild range, moderate range, or severe addiction. Please take the test, identify first your screen usage, and then talk about it to your child. It is very important. We always ask our parents, whatever your child wants whatever you want your child to do, see to it that you are doing that first. Not, please don't ask them to do. Try to do it first. Automatically, they are going to follow you. Most of the times we see that parents are telling child that spend your time playing with your friends, spend your time going out, reading. But at the same time, parents are on the mobile, parents are on the laptop, parents are on the screen for whatever the reason. But what we talk and what we do should be in line. Then only it is going to give a good effect to your child. There are some guidelines given by WHO for screen usage. Now, what are those guidelines? Below 2 years, there should be no screen at all for the child. Between 2 to 5, the screen usage should be only 1 hour, not more than that. And the healthy screen time for adults or for adolescents is 6 to 8 hours with 20/20 rule. Now, what is the 20/20 rule? 20/20 rule is when you are looking at the screen for 20 minutes at a stretch, see to it that you are off the screen for 20 seconds at least. If you are able to see me, or if you're really looking at me while I'm talking, you can observe that while talking, somewhere in between, I'm trying to take my eyes off the screen. And it is really very important. You will find a way difference even though you are using the screen for 6 to 8 hours. This 20/20 rule helps a lot. And trust me, in COVID, we had to use that because we used to have all our sessions online. I mean, we used to make a joke saying we are counseling for screen addiction on the screen. But trust me, we had good results also about of this online counseling. In Muktangan, for any kind of addiction, what we say is anything when it is at the level of use, it is good. When it is going towards misuse, try to treat that. Otherwise, it will go towards abuse. That is addiction. So screen is always good. It is not bad at all. But it is good only when it is at the level of use. And if you understand, and trust me, we do understand. Only thing is we don't accept it. When it is going towards misuse, try to treat that so that you will not go towards abuse. It is very, very important. What are the physical illnesses, or what are the illnesses that we see when people come to us with a screen addiction is their tolerance level has come down drastically. Tolerance related to physical health, psychological health, social health, emotional health, everything. The tolerance level has gone down like anything. They have withdrawal symptoms like being violent. They start getting tremors. They are not able to interact one-on-one physically. So all these kind of withdrawal symptoms are there in children. And the most uh, dangerous withdrawal symptom is we see children try to self-harm if they don't get what they want. So these are the warning signs, or rather these are the signs where we really need to take help. Uh, was screen not there before COVID? It was there, right? And as I always say, that we cannot ask our children not to go on the screen, because screen is going to be their part and parcel of their life now. But we need to tell them how to manage their screen time. We need to teach them how to manage their screen time. So in the COVID, this internet addiction has gone up like anything. Increase in the usage of screen. Because of the social distancing and lockdowns, loneliness has increased. And now if I want to meet my friend, how am I going to meet her? Either I need to call her or I will do a video call. So again, that screen is there. Social media usage has increased. OTT binge watching was there. Gaming has increased like anything in children because they cannot go out. They were not able to play on the playgrounds. They had to sit at home and play. How many children can play cricket and basketball and anything at their home? So automatically all these games are available on the screen. So they started playing it on the screen. And it's not like they were playing alone. I remember children used to play together. They used to have a group of 5 to 6 children. They used to have a specific time and they used to play. But it used to happen before COVID. In COVID, that specific time has gone up to unlimited time. So that was the COVID effect for this gaming addiction. Sorry. Education, work, everything from home. So I remember parents used to complain that our child is there on the school, online school. He attends the school, so video is off, and that child used to have mobile in hand or tab in hand, and he used to play games. So on the screen, school is going on, and on the other screen, they used to have games or YouTube or some videos or chatting. Uh, just a small question to all of you. I don't want any answer. Just give answer to yourself. When you all are on the screen at this point of time, most of you, along with the screen, along with what I'm talking, I'm sure you are seeing your mobiles also. Now, as an adult, if we are also doing that, then how can we expect our child to concentrate in school when it is online throughout those 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is? So I'm not blaming any other parent. I'm not blaming any other child, but we need to see what is best we can teach them, how best they can use that screen time, and how best they can be attentive even though it is online. We need to identify our own ways for that. Again, online shopping that has increased, as we have already already and mentioned and talked about it. Pornography again. Uh, when I had a word with the coordinator, she asked me to talk about the security. What kind of security, cyber security we can use when our children are using these screen, gaming, chatting, posting, everything. The most important thing what we need to do is please do not post any kind of pictures of your children on the screen without their permission. Most of the children are aware why they are not supposed to post their pictures on the mobile. I'm not sure whether you all are aware or not. There is a web called dark web, where these people who handle this dark web, they try to take up your photographs, they try to edit them, and they try to use them wherever they want to use it. So you need to see that you're not posting any single photographs of yours. If you're in a group, if you are doing something, that is also fine. But if you're in a group, it is a good way to post your pictures. But when you're posting a picture of your own alone, then that can be used as a misuse anywhere. So that is the first very important rule, that please do not post any of your pictures. You write anything, but again, when you write something, see to it that you're not hurting anyone. You're not trying to hurt anyone's emotions, anyone's religions, so that will affect you at the back. Also, I can share one link with your school, which will help you to understand what are the cyber securities. We, some doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, we came together and we had designed one course for the parents, which is available online. And it is hardly of any price. I think it's somewhere around 1,000 or 1,200 rupees for that course. And it is around 4 to 5 hours of course. You can do it as per your timings, as per your liberty. And in that course, we have explained everything that you need to do to not to get into the addiction. So there are ophthalmologists, there are pediatricians, there are psychiatrists, there are psychologists, there are dietitians who will be guiding you in this course about how to use the screen, how not to go towards the misuse, and how you can be away from the screen addiction along with your children. There are some rules which we tell our parents and children when they use screen. There should be no screen zone in your house. Decide any room where you will not use screen. So that is a zone which we can call it as a no screen zone. I mean, you can have a board also saying no screen zone, like we have no smoking zone. So the same way we can have no screen zones in the house. So if you go into that room, you're not supposed to use the screen. There has to be a screen time budget. We all have financial budgets for our house, right? Same way, we need to have a screen time budget. Everyone has to declare at the starting of the day that today my screen usage is going to be XYZ time. And all of us, we need to cross check each other at the end of the day, what is a screen time for everyone. Now, how will you use or how will you see that? We all have one app in our mobile called as Digital Wellbeing, which tells us how much time for which app did you use the phone. And trust me, it is a good, healthy competition at your house. Now, my children are, one is 21 and one is 18. Still, we have this game at our place. Every day at 9, we declare our screen time. And we try to compete each other that tomorrow my screen time is going to be low. So that's a very healthy way to keep your child away from the screen. And it is also good for us as parents. 2020 effect, which I had already talked about. One very important rule is no meal or all meals should be without screen. We as a parent also have a habit of eating our dinner or lunch in front of the TV. And we give reasons that we don't get time to see TV, so this is our time. But we can have our dinner in 15 or 20 minutes and then we can watch TV or before the meal. But see to it, none of your meals should be in front of the screen. Try to have meals together at least once a day where you can talk to each other. You can share things about what is happening in your day, so that that bonding, family bonding, starts getting uh, more good. Use alarm clocks for alarm. Now, why I have put this here is, whenever children come to me saying, phone तर पाहिजे रात्री कारण आम्हाला सकाळी अलार्म लावायला लागतो. So the best part is, try to gift your son or daughter a good alarm clock so that your phones will be out of your bedroom at night. This is very, very important. See, most of the times we keep our phone charging in the bedroom itself. Most of the times they are at bedside. So those radiations throughout the night are very, very harmful for our brain. So try not to have your mobile in the bedroom at night. Normally, what we ask parents to do is make a small box where everyone will have their mobile inside at night, and keep it outside the bedroom or in the hall or kitchen, wherever you want to keep it. One more thing is, no screen before an hour of sleep. Now, why is that? See, when you see the screen and go to sleep, you keep on thinking about whatever you had seen. That effect is always there till the time you go to the deep sleep. And you see the effect of that screen in the deep sleep also in your dreams. So, आपल्याला माहिती आहे लहानपणी सांगायचे, चांगलं वाचा आणि झोपा. कशासाठी? Because whenever you have something good to hear, good to read, automatically that thing is there in your mind all the night and in your subconscious mind. So it is very, very important. And the most important thing is rules for everyone in the house. And whenever you make the rule, see to it that you are considering your child. I always tell parents that please do not make timetable, schedule, or rules for your child. Try to consider, try to talk and discuss with your child and make the rules along with them, not on your own. When child makes his rule, his or her own rules, no, they try to follow it very, 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 very regularly, rather than you making rules for them. Use timer while playing games. This is very effective. You have that, as I said, try to get the alarm clock. Whenever your child is playing game, tell them or ask them or discuss with them that how much time are they going to play. If it's 1 hour, 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, you can have alarm. Once that alarm is done, he has to keep it off. If you keep on reminding, no, ki banda kar, banda kar, banda kar, that becomes irritating for child also. Please understand that child is an individual. The way we have our emotions, they also have their emotions. So instead of making them irritate, try to use these kind of tricks which will help you and your child as well. Last but not the least, what I think or what we all think at Muktangan is, for substance addiction, recovery is abstinence. That is, don't use it at all. Whether it is alcohol, drugs, smoking, whatever it is, that addiction, if you want to recover from that, abstinence is a good thing. But internet addiction or screen addiction, recovery is manage your usage. You cannot have the abstinence of screen at all. In this era of 21st century or the digital era, we cannot have totally off the screen. So we need to understand how we can manage our screen. That is the best way of recovery. And trust me, if you can have your schedule of screen time, and if you can plan that and manage that and also follow that, it is always useful for you as well as your child. I think that is what I would like to give you from my side. We can have this discussion open for question answers as well.
Yeah, I think that was really nice, ma'am. That was really, really informative. I think most of us keep reading things, but implementation is always a tough time for all of us, like be it kids or be it adults. So I think now parents and students, all those who are attending, It's open for question answers. So let's get more interactive by getting your doubts cleared as parents and students. So can we have any questions here? Yes, parents, students. Children may also have doubts because you are using internet and you're using the different apps, but you may not be aware of how depth should you get into, and when is it going to really harm you. So you can have queries regarding the same. So let's be more open.
There is one question, I guess, in the chat box. Please share the name of the test that you mentioned.
It is
You can tell.
it is Internet Addiction Test by Kimberly Young. It is called as IAT. If you Google IAT, you can get that test. Yeah.
And ma'am, which app you have suggested? Hello?
Yes.
Which app you have suggested for us for the
That is digital well-being.
mobile?
What is the right age of giving their own mobile to children nowadays? Means I'm still not sure whether, means if we are right now what we are telling them is to use our mobile, parents' mobile. But then what is the use? Means having their own mobile or using the parents' mobile? Basically, we wanted not to use much mobile, but then sometime many mothers, I'm hearing the same thing, that my
Right.
mobile is my kid's mobile only, means, and then they say
Right.
ki, no, we don't give mobile to our children, means they don't have their own mobile. But then on the contradictory, they keep also saying that our means when somebody call them, if they don't pick up, अरे माझा मोबाईल तर सगळा मुलांचाच असतो, म्हणजे असं म्हणलं जातं. तर हे मला अजूनही कन्फ्युजिंग आहे, की हे आम्ही कसं सॉर्ट केलं पाहिजे. कधी त्यांना आपला स्वतःचा मोबाईल दिला पाहिजे, त्यांचा स्वतःचा, आणि आम्ही त्यांना नाही दिला पाहिजे. या दोन गोष्टी मला अजूनही म्हणजे खूप हे होतात, कळत नाही, काय क्लॅरिटी नाही मिळत आहे.
राईट. कसं आहे ना, आता सध्या ऑनलाईन स्कूलिंगमुळे आपल्याला त्यांना मोबाईल देणं हे अपरिहार्य होतं. पण आता ऑनलाईन स्कूलिंग थांबलंय. त्याच्यामुळे आता तो मोबाईल त्यांचा ऑलरेडी झालेला आहे. सो ऑलरेडी जर दिलेला असेल तर यू नीड टू टीच देम हाऊ टू यूज. And if you ask me the right age when to give the mobile, not before 10th standard. And if you want to give them a small mobile with a button that is just for the connectivity. कारण मुलं सध्या एकटी जातात, बाहेर जातात, प्रॉब्लेम्स असतात, आय अंडरस्टँड. सो कनेक्टिव्हिटी इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. सो 10वी पर्यंत आपण आपल्या मुलाला कनेक्टिव्हिटीसाठी मोबाईल साधा छोटा नक्की देऊ शकतो. पण बऱ्याच वेळेला ना असं दिसतं की पेरेंट्सनाच ते आवडत नाही. अरे माझ्या मुलाकडे एवढा साधा मोबाईल कसा? सो आपण त्यांना स्मार्टफोन देतो. आणि तुम्ही जे म्हणालात ते की आईचा मोबाईल हा मुलाचाच मोबाईल असतो. पण आईचा मोबाईल हा मुलाचा मोबाईल किती आणि कधी झाला पाहिजे हे प्रत्येक आईवरती डिपेंड करतं. सो एव्हरी मदर और एव्हरी फादर और अ पेरेंट नीड टू बी व्हेरी व्हेरी असर्टिव्ह वाईल टॉकिंग टू चाइल्ड. मुलांनी आरडाओरडी केली, हट्ट केला की आपण ते देतो आणि मोकळं होतो. रादर दॅन दॅट द चाइल्ड नीड टू अंडरस्टँड की मी कितीही आरडाओरडी केली तरी मला ज्या वेळेला जी गोष्ट मिळणार आहे ती त्याच वेळेला मिळणार आहे. मला ना इथे एक गोष्ट शेअर करायला आवडेल. माझी मुलं जेव्हा अगदी म्हणजे माझा मुलगा पहिलीत होता ना, तेव्हा त्यांच्या शाळेच्या प्रिन्सिपलनी एक ओरिएंटेशन घेतलं होतं आणि त्यात त्यांनी आम्हाला एक खूप छान गोष्ट सांगितली होती. शी टोल्ड अस की ट्राय टू टीच युअर चाइल्ड टू लिसन नो. आपण खूप कमी वेळा मुलांना नाही म्हणतो कोणत्याही गोष्टीला. Because we have our own reasons, we try to compensate our time by giving them materialistic things. सो वी नीड टू, म्हणजे त्यांनी आम्हाला असं पण एक सांगितलं की ट्राय युझिंग अ मेथड ऑफ डुईंग युअर फायनान्शियल बजेट विथ युअर चाइल्ड सिन्स द एज ही इज 8. आपल्या घराचं फायनान्शियल बजेट हे आपण करतो का, आणि करत असलो तर ते मुलांना बरोबर घेऊन करा. लेट देम अंडरस्टँड द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ मनी, लेट देम अंडरस्टँड वाय यू आर नॉट स्पेंडिंग समथिंग ॲट दॅट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम फॉर देम. नाही म्हणायला काहीतरी कारण आहे आणि ते व्हॅलिड कारण आपल्याला मुलांना देता आलं पाहिजे आणि ते कन्व्हिन्स करता आलं पाहिजे. देन इट इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इझी टू कम्युनिकेट विथ देम. आपण मुलांपासून खूप गोष्टी लपवतो अशा विचाराने की त्यांना कळणार नाही, पण आपण समजावून सांगितलं तर मुलांना समजतं. आणि हा आमचा काउन्सिलिंग मधला अनुभव आहे. कितीतरी गोष्टी मुलं येऊन सांगतात आणि इथे सांगतात, घरी का नाही सांगत, कारण घरी आई वडील ऐकून घेत नाहीत, ते फक्त ओरडतात, तुला कळत नाही एवढंच म्हणतात. सो म्हणजे जेव्हा आपल्याला पाहिजे तेव्हा मोठी झालेली असतात मुलं, आणि जेव्हा आपल्याला पाहिजे तेव्हा आपल्या सोयीने आपण त्यांना लहानपण करतो. सो ट्राय टू ट्रीट देम ॲज अन इंडिव्हिज्युअल, ट्राय टू टॉक टू देम व्हेरी ओपनली अबाउट एव्हरीथिंग. See, as I said, our children are one step ahead of us in information gathering at this age. आपल्याला ज्या गोष्टी माहिती नाहीयेत त्या गोष्टी आपल्या मुलांना माहिती आहेत. Please accept that. So talk to them very openly about it and be very, very, very assertive with your child. I hope I have answered your question.
मी काय करते, मी त्यांना कारण विचारते, मग मोबाईल कशासाठी हवाय. मग आता कधी कधी आता थोडी आपली हायब्रिड मॉडेल अजून आपण म्हणजे वी आर स्टील रनिंग विथ द हायब्रिड मॉडेल. मग त्याच्यामुळे ते कारण जर योग्य असेल तर मग मी त्यांना हो म्हणते. तुम्ही जे म्हणताय ते अगदी योग्य की नाही पण म्हणलं पाहिजे, पण आधी नाही म्हणण्याच्या आधी मी एकदा त्यांना कारण विचारते की तुला आता कशासाठी हवाय मोबाईल. कारण बऱ्याच वेळा मग ते व्हॅलिड असं ते सांगतात, आई या नोट्स आता मला आमचा हायब्रिड मॉडेल आहे, मला कॉपी करून घ्यायच्या आहेत किंवा असं. मग मी बघते की नाही, त्या अर्धा पाऊण तासाने कॉपी केल्यानंतर मग तो गेम नाही खेळत बसलाय ना, मग ते झाल्यावर त्याच्याकडून काढून घेणं हे माझी जबाबदारी आहे.
अगदी बरोबर, अगदी बरोबर. And see to it that your child is not sitting with the screen in the room closing the door. That's very, very important.
Yes.
मुलं काय करतायत हे सारखं जाऊन बघायची गरज नाही, पण ते लपवत नाहीत ना हे मात्र नक्की बघायला पाहिजे. कोणीतरी बोललं पण क्लिअर नाही आलं.
Can you be a bit more loud, please? Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
मॅम मला विचारायचं होतं की बरेचसे पॅरेंट्स आजकाल बोथ पेरेंट्स आर वर्किंग, तर त्यामुळे आता ज्या 2 वर्षामध्ये मुलांना मोबाईल दिले तर त्यांच्याकडे त्यांचं लक्ष नसतं की मुलांचं इंस्टाग्राम अकाउंट हेही पॅरेंट्सला माहित नसतं. तर त्याच्यासाठी सजेशन पेरेंट्सला द्याल का? कारण मी बऱ्याचदा असं बघितलंय की काही मुलं घरी सगळं सांगतात, पण काही मुलांना म्हणजे पेरेंट्सला वेळ नसल्यामुळे त्यांना सांगता येत नाही, आणि मग त्याच्यामुळे कसं होतं की बाकीच्यांना ते फोर्स करतात की तुझं इंस्टाग्राम अकाउंट नाहीये मग तू का नाही ओपन करत आहे. ऍडिक्ट होतात आणि नाही म्हणता येत नाही. त्यांचे आता 8th स्टँडर्ड 9th स्टँडर्डच्या मुलांचे कसे ग्रुप बनलेले असतात, तर ग्रुपमुळे पर्टिक्युलर पेरेंट्सने लक्ष नाही दिलं आणि त्यांचं इंस्टाग्राम अकाउंट असेल मुलांचं, तर ते बाकीच्यांना फोर्स करतात की तुम्ही ओपन करा आणि यांना नाही म्हणता येत नाही. त्यामुळे मग ते असं होतं की माझं अकाउंट मला पेरेंट्स ओपन करून देत नाही, पण बाकीच्यांचे ऑलरेडी अकाउंट आहेत. तर त्याच्याबद्दल काय सांगता येईल?
The best way is communicating with your child. आपण ना म्हणजे तुम्ही म्हणालात तसं मी आणि आय विल नॉट ब्लेम यू की आपल्या पेरेंट्सना कधी कधी वेळ नसतो, त्यांना मुलांशी कम्युनिकेट करायला वेळ कमी पडतो, पण दिवसातला 15 मिनिटं ते 20 मिनिटं किंवा अर्धा तास वेळ आपण आपल्या मुलांसाठी काढू शकतो का, हा थोडासा विचार करायला हरकत नाही. माझ्या मते तेवढा वेळ आपल्याला नक्की मिळतो. आणि मग मुलांना हे का नाही करायचं
Ma'am, I think we lost you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
We just missed you. Yeah, we just hear you now. We missed you somewhere.
Yeah.
In between. Yeah.
Yeah. So try to communicate with your child for everything that you are saying no. एखाद्या गोष्टीसाठी आपण का नाही म्हणतोय हे आपल्या मुलाला व्यवस्थितपणे आणि मोकळेपणी सांगता आलं पाहिजे. आणि इतकं करूनही समजा ती गोष्ट घडत नसेल तर ॲज आय टोल्ड यू, ट्राय टू कीप ॲप्स लॉक. देयर इज नो अदर वे आउट. तुम्ही मुलांना जसं मी म्हटलं स्क्रीन वापरण्यापासून थांबवू शकत नाही, बट देन ट्राय टू मेक देम अंडरस्टँड वाय अँड वेन टू यूज इट, why not to use it. And if that is not happening, then you need to keep controls on that. That's the only thing we can do. We also can use the reward punishment thing in this case. म्हणजे माझ्याकडे जो एक मुलगा आलेला होता त्याच्या बाबतीमध्ये आम्ही हे करून बघितलं and that really worked well. आम्ही त्यांना सांगायचो की ओके, यू वॉन्ट टू यूज द फोन, यू वॉन्ट टू यूज द मोबाईल, द फर्स्ट थिंग इज नो क्लोज डोर, आय मीन ओपन डोर पॉलिसी, द फर्स्ट थिंग. Second thing is complete XYZ things that you need to do and then you use the mobile. मुलं negotiate काय करतात बघा, का आधी मोबाईल दे मग मी बाकीचं करतो. You need to negotiate exactly opposite. XYZ गोष्टी आहेत complete करा and then you will get the mobile. That too, you tell me for how much time. मुलांनाच सांगू देत. 1 तास, 1.5 तास, 2 तास जे काय असेल ते, but see to it no one is using the mobile or screen more than 45 minutes at a stretch. 40 ते 45 मिनिटानंतर कुठेतरी तो ब्रेक आला पाहिजे. मग तो तुम्ही जस्ट ॲज आय टोल्ड यू 20-20 रूल असेल, एक घरात राऊंड मारणं असेल, काही असेल, बट ॲट अ स्ट्रेच शुड नॉट बी मोर दॅन 45 मिनिट्स. माझ्या मते त्या कोर्स डिटेल्स पाहिजे होते. आय थिंक आय विल सेंड इट टू यू, द कोर्स दॅट वी हॅव, दॅट ऑनलाईन का कोर्स. आय विल सेंड द डिटेल्स टू यू. I'll send the contact number also, so that anyone, if they want to do that course, they can do it. Also, if anyone from you interested, me and one of my friend, we have started, she's also a psychologist. We have started a parent support group. See, we have all kinds of support groups nowadays, but every support group is there when some problem is there. Anxiety support group, depression support group, autistic children support group. So we have started a support group for children, I mean for parents, for normal general parents, not necessarily that you or your child have to have some problem. In that support group, what we try to do is we try to share our experiences with each other. We try to give them some inputs from our psychological background so that you are very well aware of things, you can manage yourself, and you can have a very good parenting also. So anyone from you, if you are interested, you can just let us know.
Yeah, any more questions, parents? Or students, anyone?
So students were also there.
Yes, anyone? Any doubts? Any queries?
Hello,
Yes.
madam. I want to ask one question. Actually, Miss, we have 2 kids. One girl, she is in UKG, and one small boy. So both they are not eating anything without sitting in front of TV or mobile. They want to see, then only they will start eating. So how to avoid this practice?
There's one very simple thing what you can do is start building your storytelling skills. You know why children watch television or mobile? Because they are seeing something. They like to watch the stories. They like to watch those animations. If you can tell them story while feeding them, it's a very, very good thing for the bonding as well as their eating also. And see, 1 or 2 days, what happens, you know, if my child is not eating for a day, next day what I'll do, okay, he's not eating, let me show the mobile and let him eat. At least he's eating, no? But then that habit gets inculcated. Child will not eat for a day, 2 days, third day the child is going to eat. Trust me. म्हणून मी म्हटलं we need to be very assertive. Please don't be submissive in front of your child. Also don't be aggressive in front of your child. Children knows how to get their ways out. So try to talk to them. Also see whether any of the family member is having this habit of sitting in front of the TV and eating food. They take up that habit. Children children don't do anything on their own. They learn from us. So they might have seen somewhere. They might be seeing it at home that someone is eating in front of the television. So this is the way someone has to have their dinner. So try to change that.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
just to take your suggestion ahead,
Yeah.
Can audio stories also help in this case? Just to
Definitely.
Inculcate maybe the listening skills also much better, and they are
Yes.
Focused much better. So maybe audio stories also these days are available. So
Yeah.
if your child is
We can
already
use that.
used to using
Yeah.
technology, by just cutting it out immediately may create a problem. So you may reduce it by just starting with some audio stories, and they are, a good substitute to something which instead of watching something, and then
Yeah.
maybe those things could also help. Yeah.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. Any other question?
Good afternoon,
I
ma'am.
think that.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. We are interested to join a parent support group. So, what will be
Yeah.
the next task for that?
You can contact, if you can share my number, they can contact me. We have this support group every last Saturday of the month. So we will be having it on the next Saturday.
Yeah. Thanks, ma'am. Please share your number.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just put it right now in the chat. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the group
Do-
or in the ninth vigor. Okay.
So should I put it here, ma'am, in this chat box so everyone
Yeah.
can?
What I'll
Yeah.
do is I'll put both the numbers in the chat
Yeah.
box so that everyone
Yeah.
can see that.
Sure.
We as parents need to introspect ourselves first, before we judge our children, because
Very
it
true.
begins with us and then they start imitating us.
Very true.
In many households, I've observed that one parent is the one who's disciplining, whereas the other parent will give in to the demands of the child. So it just never helps for the parent who's trying to discipline, because children can play politics, they will always go to the parent who gives in. So this is a very serious problem, which which I feel, the root causes the parents and the extended family. So we need to have more of family counseling. And
Yes.
it is also a social problem, because if in one family the parents try to inculcate discipline, limited screen time and all, when they go to meet their cousins or extended family, it's always going to come back home that my cousins can have, my friends can have, but hame nahi mil raha.
Yes.
So you parents
Yes.
are the bad parents, and then they go
Right.
outside and they will share their friends' phone. So it's
Right.
more of a social problem, and
understand.
what you guys are doing is excellent, trying to create awareness.
Yeah.
And we need to have
So-
more of family counseling.
Right.
And I think
social
only then
problem, yes. Social problem,
we
I
can train
also
the
agree with
children.
you. Yeah, but then what happens, whatever is there in our control, we can work on that. So what we can do is, like what we are doing is awareness. We are trying to generate this support group only for this, that how can you deal with your children? How can you be a very good parent? See, being a good or bad parent, more than that, how can you be a parent who is happy to be a parent? That is most important. Every time if you see, we keep on blaming ourselves. की मी हे नाही केलं ना, मग मी चांगली आई नाहीये. मी असं नाही करत ना, मग मी चांगली आई नाहीये. So that is where our confidence and our self-esteem goes down. And that's the reason we are trying to create this awareness through the support group also. And as you rightly said, when there is a joint family or even in two parents also, if you are not in one line, then it is very, very difficult to manage your child. So we always tell our parents that please do not argue in front of your child. Whatever you want to discuss, whatever you have difference of opinion, please do it when your child is not around. But when you talk to your child, the child needs to understand what mother says, father is also agreeing to that. What father says, mother is also agreeing to that. Then that manipulation will not be there. And trust me, it is not a manipulation. See, we all at Muktangan, we don't like to use manipulation word for children. They try to find their way out for their survival. That's it. So we need to show them, or we need to channelize their thinking in a good way.
Very true, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
May I?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, I agree with the point just now raised by one parent recently, that if one parent is telling that don't use a mobile phone for the extended time, and then the other parent himself is using it for extended time. And in such case, it may be anyone, like husband, they are not controllable at this moment. We cannot change their habits, or maybe it is a need of time.
Yeah.
Second point, the working parents. Every time the work from home is not an option for everyone. So we have to, like, this has happened in 2 years of online schooling. The gadgets were in the hands of children and parents were not around all the time to look at them. So
Right.
then we try to make them aware by telling that yes, there are some side effects of using the screen time for more extended time and all that. But then again, it comes to the call that is taken at the individual end, that whether they take it as one more lecture session of parent or they really understand the concern of the parent. So, like, it seems to be like, is there any solution to this?
More, as I told you, more than solution, it is the way you communicate with each other, even as parent. You need to see, if you want to put something as a rule in front of your child, first you both need to discuss with each other. You need to get agree at one point, and then you discuss with your child. It is very, very important to be at one line when you talk to your child. I think the communication is the only way out for this.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Any more queries? Yeah. I think the major ones have been asked and addressed too, which I think is the common concern of all the parents today. So whatever the common solution we have come up to is like we all being on the same page as a family to set the rules, set the boundaries for them as well as for us, is what is the learning we take today. So we cannot, the quote which we generally tell our parents is, children are great imitators, so give them something great to imitate. So we need to ponder upon the session today, the talk we had, the pointers we are taking, and also the quote with us, that am I giving them something great to imitate? So, you know, we really need to analyze as parents, and children, if you're attending, please analyze your ways, whether you are really following the 2020 rule, which ma'am has taught us today, and all the pointers which are really important for you. And let us not get into the path of addiction, though we are not using the term, let us not get into that. Yeah, so let's use the 2020 rule and minimize our level and our usage to that extent that it really benefits us and not harm us. Thank you so much, I think, ma'am, for a wonderful session on a Saturday.
Thank you.
I think the weekend is for us to think over and get back from Monday with a good start, with a minimal usage from all of us as adults and children. So a great learning. We definitely will be sharing a feedback link immediately after the session so that all the students, parents can share their feedbacks. And I'm sure, ma'am, this session is of great benefit to all of them as well as us
Thank you.
who are dealing with children and parents. Thank you so much for your time on the Saturday. Thank you, dear
so
parents.
much.
Thank you, children. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.